I've been saying this over and over and over again. The love fest and the love shack is here, ladies and gentlemen, as Aaron Rodgers and Bill Belichick's pairing is starting to release. It's starting to smell. It's starting to be a talk of the town. And who brought it up 1 week ago? Yours truly, because I have been saying this over and over and over again. Aaron Rodgers last week came out and said at a press, well, actually, it didn't come through the press conference, but he pretty much stated he does not want to be a New York Jet next year, which means he will be a free agent. And Bill Belichick and Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show has some kind of love fest for one another. I don't know what it is. And I could understand Aaron Rodgers and his love fest for Bill Belichick, but his love fest, as far as Bill Belichick concerned, for Aaron Rodgers makes no sense, okay? Because we all know that Tom Brady was his quarterback for over 20 years. And we all know that Aaron Rodgers is a completely different quarterback than Tom Brady. So I understand the greatness and why Bill Belichick loves Aaron Rodgers. I could understand that, but I can't understand why he loves Aaron Rodgers and believes that Aaron Rodgers would be a good fit under his offense. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. But again, it's all about respect. Both the coach and the quarterback have a lot of respect for one another. There's no question that they do. But again, Aaron Rodgers, for some reason, over the last couple of seasons, has come out and said some interesting things on social media and even to the press. And one thing that just is very disturbing to me is the fact that when you're talking about leaving an organization that you kept pushing and pushing for when it comes to bringing Davante Adams and when it comes to bringing some of your guys over from the Green Bay Packers to this organization in the New York Jets, and then all of a sudden, within weeks of the last couple of games, there are stories coming out that you don't want to be there. You want nothing to do with this team or this organization. And it reminds me, maybe this is why they agree with a lot of different things. Bill Belichick walked out on the Jets within 24 hours, and Aaron Rodgers, in his first full season, is sick of the New York Jets, and he's about to walk out of them before the season's end. It is so filling that you look at Aaron Rodgers and the complete disrespect that he has for the organization in the New York Jets, and Bill Belichick for all those years where Jet fans were so pissed off at Bill Belichick getting the job from Bill Parcells and within 24 hours walking away from the job, going to the New England Patriots, and then winning multiple, actually 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady as a 6th-round draft pick. It's just very, very disturbing. Now, obviously, the fact that Aaron Rodgers is a guy that is going to be looking for a new team and a new organization, and Bill Belichick, who will go to an organization that is probably going to look for a quarterback because he's going to want full control. And as we've said, the Saints. Now, if Bill Belichick goes to the Saints, it wouldn't make any sense that Aaron Rodgers would go there, because Derek Carr is there. And unless they're deciding to move or trade Derek Carr, who's going to want that contract, by the way? I don't know if anybody's going to want that contract. So that wouldn't make any sense. The Raiders make complete sense. You know why? Because Tom Brady is partial owner of that team. He owns 10% of the Raiders. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, even though over the last couple of years have had back and forth banter with one another, offset as a coach and quarterback. Nevertheless, I don't know if anybody's watched the what was that Patriots?
The Dynasty.
The Dynasty documentary, and Bill Belichick was getting his fingers pointed at, not only from Tom Brady, but from the whole team, including Robert Kraft. But nevertheless, if Bill Belichick goes over there, Tom Brady has ownership, and why wouldn't Aaron Rodgers go over there? He would be, but what makes no sense is Davante Adams just left there. Would Davante Adams actually go back there if Bill Belichick and Aaron Rodgers goes over there? It doesn't make any sense. I don't think that's going to work. I did say that it would make a lot of sense if Aaron Rodgers and Bill Belichick team up for at least 1 season, maybe 2 seasons, because Aaron Rodgers came out and said that he would be willing to or love to be coached by Bill Belichick. I just don't think this is the same Aaron Rodgers he once was with the Green Bay Packers. He doesn't have the mobility. He does have the accuracy. Now, in a Bill Belichick offense, you don't need the mobility to run his offense. It's really fast release passes, getting guys in the right spots, short passes, and let the wide receivers and running backs beat you on the inside and the out. It would make sense to how it would fit. It just doesn't make any sense on if Bill Belichick goes to the Raiders, how that would fit with Aaron Rodgers going over there, especially if he wants Davante Adams, because you know damn well if Aaron Rodgers leaves the Jets, Davante Adams is gone. He can opt out of his contract. He will be afraid. It wouldn't make any sense why he would go back to the Raiders. It wouldn't, even though he never wanted to leave the Raiders.
Right.
He really never did. His family's from that area, but it would look really, really bad if Davante Adams forced his way out of the Raiders organization because he couldn't stand the Raiders organization, and then to go back there because Bill Belichick and Aaron Rodgers is there now. It doesn't make any sense. So the Saints and the Raiders don't make any sense, but maybe the Jaguars do. Now, I said this over and over and over again, that the Jaguars organization would give Bill Belichick full control of the organization. He would give them full control. And with Bill Belichick as the GM, and as the coach, he would be able to go after the quarterback of his choosing. But guess what? They just gave Trevor Lawrence a huge contract in the offseason. So they would have to move that contract. Who's going to take a contract of Trevor Lawrence, who really has not been worth the money that they paid him in the offseason? He was overpaid, he's an overachiever at his numbers. I just think there's a lot of questions to obviously putting two and two together with Aaron Rodgers and Bill Belichick banding together and trying to win a Super Bowl. Bill Belichick makes sense to go to the Jaguars. It makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to go to the Raiders because obviously there's a coach that was over there just a few, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And Josh McDaniels. Now, if Bill Belichick goes to the Raiders, he's probably bringing Josh McDaniels as his offensive coordinator. That's not going to make any sense, especially what Davis did to Josh McDaniels. So that's not going to. Now, if he goes to the Jaguars, it makes a lot of sense. But what are they going to do with Trevor Lawrence? Are you going to have Aaron Rodgers be Trevor Lawrence's backup? Or are you going to have Trevor Lawrence be Aaron Rodgers' backup? And is Aaron Rodgers going to take less money? Now, if he obviously, if the Jets decide to part ways with Aaron Rodgers, they're going to have to trade him because he's still under contract. He can't opt. The Jets. He can't opt out of the contract, and the Jets still owe Aaron Rodgers $75 million. So I don't know how that would work with Trevor Lawrence unless the Jets and the Jaguars make a deal, which would send Trevor Lawrence to the New York Jets, and Aaron Rodgers would go to the Jaguars, and the Jets would have to add an additional piece or a draft pick to get Trevor Lawrence. Now, that could work, but would Bill Belichick do that? And will the ownership allow that to happen? I don't know. Now, are all questions who the Jets bring in as their head coach and where they go in that route. There's a lot of questions to this and how it would work. But I am not surprised that this story has come out that Aaron Rodgers and Bill Belichick are talking. And I know they're speaking because they're on Pat McAfee's show every single week. They have a love fest for one another. They kiss each other's ass. And they talk such great high praise for each other. It wouldn't surprise me if these guys band together, if it's the right place.
There's so many aspects of this, of moving and shaking and how you bring people in. But at the same time, we all know Bill Belichick can decide what the hell he wants to do himself and who he wants to bring in and who he wants to have. Where is the right move and where is it with the right organization to be able to?
The Jaguars are the only organization that I think fits with Bill Belichick, and if he wants to bring Aaron Rodgers, because the ownership would let him take over as the GM. Now, the only thing that doesn't make any sense is the Trevor Lawrence contract. What are they going to do with that? Are they going to? Now, there are other teams that would be interested in Trevor Lawrence, but are they willing to pay him $55 million? That's the only thing right now. If they didn't give Trevor Lawrence, now they had 2 years left to decide if they're going to extend Trevor Lawrence and give him $55.5 million like they did this offseason, which Jeff was wrong about that. But I will say this, now that they've got stuck with this contract, that's the only problem. That would be the only reason that would set Aaron Rodgers and Bill Belichick being connected with one another in the offseason on a team. There's no way Davante Adams goes back there. There's no way that if Josh McDaniels goes over there, Davante Adams wants to be coached or being on, have him as his offensive coordinator. That's not going to happen because him and Josh McDaniel did not like each other. As a matter of fact, he was the reason why Josh McDaniels got fired. Okay, so that wouldn't make any sense either. Wherever Aaron Rodgers goes in the offseason, that's where Davante Adams is going. There is no question because Davante Adams is going to opt out of his contract. He has the opportunity in the offseason to part ways with the New York Jets. And that's exactly what he is going to do as he screwed the New York Jets, as the Jets gave up a third-round draft, something that Joe Douglas did not do. That was another Aaron Rodgers move. That was what Aaron Rodgers wanted. Joe Douglas obliged him, and now Aaron Rodgers wants his way out of there. And I do believe Davante Adams is going to go follow wherever Aaron Rodgers decides he wants to go. Now, here's the thing, and we can go back to this. We're going to try to spin the wheel, make the deal on where Bill Belichick is going in the offseason. It made a lot of sense that if Bill Belichick went to Atlanta, that would make unbelievable sense on Aaron Rodgers going to Atlanta and connecting with Bill Belichick next year. Well, obviously in 2025. But Bill Belichick obviously got thrown to the wolves, and they decided to go with Raheem Morris. And Bill Belichick has no job. But there are going to be at least 7 teams available to bring in a coach. There was another conversation that I had with somebody off air that Chicago would be another place for Bill Belichick. Now, Chicago obviously could part ways with their GM in the offseason, especially what has happened with Eberflus. You decided to keep Eberflus. It really makes ownership really look bad. Why not bring Bill Belichick over there? But guess what? Caleb Williams is there. Caleb Williams, and you have a tremendous amount of talent defensively and offensively over there. You just need to help a little bit out of that offensive line on the right side. And this team could absolutely be a contender next year in a very hard division. But Aaron Rodgers wouldn't go there unless Bill Belichick comes in and says, listen, Caleb, I want you to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, learn behind Aaron Rodgers next year. And then the year after, you'll be taking over with the Bears after you get a little bit of a handle of my offense. I don't know, but there has to be a team that's going to tell that rookie or young quarterback or even a veteran quarterback to take the hell out, take a hike. I'm bringing in Aaron Rodgers. There's nothing you can do about it. So
that's what Aaron did with Brett Favre.
Yes.
That's what he did with Brett Favre.
That's what Love did with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen how it worked. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be a first round pick or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, okay, if I've got to sit and chew on my Skittles for a little bit, but I'm going to learn from them, right? And I'm going to see how they move and shake and how it makes them successful. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you think that's a bad thing where, yeah, we're investing a lot into this, right? But let him learn and see what he can do and then learn from him. And then boom, we've seen how it's worked. It's worked when it's happened. That's really all it is.